But first, after nearly 2 months of lockdown, we're starting to see the country opened up. This is terrific news for people out of work or with small businesses closed or just keen to get back to some semblance of normality. And in the commercial media, in the main, most journalists seem to understand what people need and want.
Return to work has to strike a balance between the health risks of opening up and the economic and health damage of staying locked down.
Chris, the PM now applying maximum pressure to the premiers.
Yes, he is, Pete. Scott Morrison has detailed the economic horror of the nationwide lockdown and measured it in dollars and jobs. And when you tally the 1.5 million unemployed with a 5 million on JobKeeper, nearly half of Australia's workforce is now on some form of welfare. That can't last.
And across in Western Australia, the media could see the pain for the tourism and hospitality industries.
Some can't wait any longer. From the south,
there are some businesses that won't recover from this, just with the amount of debt and outgoings that they have, and, you know, looking at a couple of months with no income.
To the north.
It's very important for us now for us to get a date, a pin on the board, to a date for us to work, for us and our businesses to work towards.
Opening up the economy is such important stuff that even shows that normally give us naive green left perspectives are on board.
Were the words we'd all been waiting to hear.
Today, we move ahead with reopening our economy and our society with a clear plan.
Scott Morrison's three-point plan announced Friday could get us back to mostly normal life by July.
All very promising, hey? But over at the publicly funded ABC, you can discern a remarkably different perspective.
A new survey by Vox Pop Labs in collaboration with the ABC shows that only 19% of Australians would get on a plane if they could, only 12% would attend a large event, only 40% would attend a bar or restaurant, even if they were allowed to.
Even with our curve completely flattened, with less than 20 serious cases in hospital in this country right now, with a population of 25 million, there's questioning about whether we should ease restrictions.
So what our political leaders are planning is one thing, but what do epidemiologists make of the push to use the Prime Minister's parlance, get out from under the doona? Well, already Professor Mary Louise McLaws from the University of New South Wales has raised her concerns. She's told the ABC she would wait for 0 cases in states that have hotspots before she lifted any sanctions, and only start at the end of the month to give more time for testing and data analysis.
And there have been suggestions that our Prime Minister's incredibly cautious approach might actually be cavalier.
Scott Morrison's as gung-ho as any leader can be at the moment.
We cannot allow our fear of going backwards from stopping us from going forwards.
Gung-ho? On Radio National Breakfast, we heard people without much faith in their fellow Australians and their adherence to social distancing.
Yeah, it was very disappointing, even watching in other places around the country, you know, that Mother's Day was coming in and those places were just flooded. They weren't social distancing. I just don't know what's wrong with people.
Do you think we should slow down the lockdown? OK, well, the Prime Minister says that downloading the COVID Safe app is key. You raised privacy concerns initially. The government will introduce privacy legislation tomorrow. What do you think? Should we all download it? If we can't be trusted, should we at least be traceable?
If we can't be trusted, hey, these doubts, I suppose, can lead you to some pretty weird takes on our number one issue.
Here in Australia, the biggest worry is complacency. I fear that we see these other nations opening up and think, why can't we do that?
Complacency, our biggest worry? Really? Have these people not seen what this country has done these past months and how that has crushed the curve? And what about the hundreds of thousands of Australians without work? The businesses on the verge of collapse, are they not our biggest worry right now? Could it be that journalists who get a government paycheck, come what may, who can happily work for at home and still get that government check, they don't need to worry about job security? Could it be that they might be a bit complacent about the real economy and the real people facing real pain from this very real problem?